What you guys, got another video here for you. In this one we're going to be taking a look at how we can diagnose the Dpc_Watchdog_ violation. Now this also can work for a lot of other types of blue screen of death. Some of it will be helpful, but mostly we're going to be pointing it at the Dpc_Watchdog violation. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at how we can try to resolve or diagnose this issue inside Windows 10 here. Now this also works with Windows 7 and Windows 10, Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. So first off we're going to check out the device manager. Now you can see here we have got driver issues on this system, and you want to make sure that all these are fixed, and especially disk drives and stuff like that. If you've got an issue with the disk drive, you want to right click here and check properties, and then you want to go into where it says device status, and you can see the device is working properly, but sometimes the driver can be an issue here with SSDs and other types of drivers, so you can update that driver if you want. Okay, if you go to the manufacturer's website, if you're using an SSD, or if you've got an installed driver on here, you can go to let me pick from the list here and update the driver from here. So you can see have disk, or you can go down to go next and install that driver there from there and restart the system. Now you can see here it's asking us to do a restart, and that's because it's installed that driver. Now there may be a problem with that driver, but we can diagnose that a little bit later on. Now as you can see here, the manufacturer's website for your motherboard will have all the drivers that you need. Okay, and we need to determine whether this is a hardware issue or a software issue. So installing all the latest drivers from the motherboard manufacturer's website, like say MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, ASRock, all those types of manufacturers, you can go to their website. I would advise you to flash the motherboard BIOS to the latest version, especially if you're using an old BIOS, and also update all the drivers for your system. Now the ones that are important are the chipset drivers, sound card drivers, and graphics card drivers. Make sure you get the graphics card drivers from Nvidia or AMD, and you can see here the chipset drivers are listed down the bottom here. Just download all of these and install them. There is also a utility which you can use, and this is doing a live update of your BIOS, and you can also update all your drivers via this utility as well. So it depends on which way you want to go about it. Now if you don't want to go to the website and you're a bit worried about which ones to update and which ones to install, you can also use other software like Snappy Driver. Now Snappy Driver is a piece of software that you can download for free and install, and it will search the internet for the latest drivers for your equipment and start to download those and install them onto the system. So you can see you've got a full version here or a light version. I'm going to download the light version here, save this to my computer and put this onto the desktop. Now what this is going to do is allow us to check for updates. Now I'm on a VM here, but if you're on your main system with loads of drivers, you'll probably find that some of them are way out of date, and you want to update those to stop this violation from happening. Okay, so you can see here the 64-bit version is down here. I'm just going to open this up and run it, and this will then open up a piece of software. Say yes to the user account control here, and there we are. Just have to accept that license term and agreement. Just go accept, and here we have the software. It wants to go out onto the internet. You can see sandlab.ws. So you can see here we have two drivers that have been notified that they're out of date or missing, and we need to update these drivers. And if you don't do this, then what's going to happen is you're not going to know whether it's a driver or software issue or hardware issue. So make sure you get all the latest drivers and get it all up to date, and this way you can fix any issues. Now if you look here, expert mode, it gives you a little bit more information about what it's going to do. Found in driver packs, not installed, newer, and they're the ones we want to look at. You can put the tick in current and stuff like that if you want to, but these are the ones that are done by default. Better match, and also absent in driver packs, not installed, unknown, and you can see here if you want to tick those, you can do. Now once you've got these already done here, you can then start to go ahead and search and download these drivers and install them. But I'd advise you to go to the manufacturer's website and just download the drivers from their website, because you're going to get all the latest drivers from the website where your motherboard manufacturer resides. So you can see here, this is a little bit more complicated for technicians and stuff like that, but these are the driver packs right here, and you'll see at the very top it says indexes here, and if we put a tick here, this PC, and you can see here show only updates, hide missing driver packs, you can put the tick here, and it will then remove all the other ones and just show you the ones that are missing. Okay, and you can click accept, click OK, and that will then start to download those drivers. So you can see it's a bit of a more of a techie sort of way of doing things. So if you want to do it the more simple way, then go to the motherboard manufacturer's website, and you can see here continue seeding after download. This is because they seed their drivers, so to allow other people to download. I took the tick out of there, and you can see it's now downloading these two drivers. Now automatically it will ask you to create a restore point, and I'm going to put the ticks in here, but you can see it's red, and that's because we don't have a restore point enabled, because Windows System Restore on Windows 10 is not enabled by default. So you want to make sure you go ahead and enable that. It's like a little safety net or a lifeline that you want to do. So I'm going to just put Resto in there, and this will open up the System Restore pane inside Windows 10. You can see it's off. I'm going to configure and turn on System Restore Protection, and then we can click apply and OK, and you can create a restore point here if you want to, but I'm just going to quickly shut the program down and restart it, and you can see let the program create a restore point for me. What it will do then is download and start to install those two drivers that are missing. Now these could be a sound card driver, a graphics card driver, or some sort of network card. Anything can cause a blue screen of death if you're using older versions of that driver and it's not compatible with the latest Windows release that they've done. Windows updates all the time, so you want to keep your drivers up to date and keep that running nice and smooth. Okay, so you can see here it's going to just quickly create a restore point for us, and this is going to be a safety net just in case something goes wrong, and it will start to install these drivers. Now again, we still don't know whether it's a hardware or software issue, so what we're going to do here is move on and restart the system and let those drivers install, and hopefully this will resolve a lot of your issues. Once you start to update all the drivers, the problem hopefully will go away. So what we're going to do is let this update, and I'll let this finish off. There we go, and this will then boot back up to the desktop. So we've got that system restore point there, which is really important for later on, because you always want to make sure that you've got that to go back to in case there's something goes wrong. So let's take a look in Device Manager now. So everything is looking good here. We've updated the disk drive drivers. Now if you updated your chipset drivers and stuff like that, like I told you on your motherboard manufacturer's website, then obviously that's going to resolve a lot of those out-of-date driver issues. So let's go into Control Panel here, and what we're going to do here now is change the category to Large, and inside here I'm going to come down and we're going to go to System. Inside here we're going to go to Advanced System Settings, and we're just going to configure the blue screen of death area here, which is the Startup and Recovery option in Advanced here. Make sure you're in Advanced tab and go Startup and Recovery. Now you can see we get access to our system failure settings. This is going to help us get that dump file, which has been around since as long as I can remember. So you can get here a kernel memory dump, or you can get a complete memory dump file. Whatever you want to do here, select the one you want to select. Okay, so once you've done that, you can now disable automatic deletion of memory dumps when the disk space is low. I'm going to remove that tick and overwrite any existing files. Now we don't want to do that because obviously in case it overwrites any existing dump files, I want to keep all those because I want to examine them and check them out a little bit later on. Automatically restart, take the tick out of there, and that will stop the blue screen from disappearing on the screen. You'll be able to read it and see what it says. Now yours might be different to the blue screen you're seeing here, but this is going to help you get some more information. Sometimes it tells you specifically what file is causing that issue. Once you've got this done, you can then take effect by restarting your computer. It's going to click OK here and just restart the system. And I've just speeded that process up there. Now, another thing that you can use, and you can also post this information on forums, which is the Who's Crashed program here. Now, there's blue screen view and loads of other types of programs you can use if you're more advanced at this sort of stuff. And what it's going to do is allow you to analyze any sort of dump files that are on your system. So once you get in here, open the program up and you'll see dump files and load drivers and stuff like that up here. The one we're interested in is the report, and we want to analyze the system. This is then going to detect any sort of dump files on the system, and it will give you some information here below. So we can now read the information here, and you'll see that it will give you information about what's actually happened to the computer. It will say crash dump analysis. And I've covered these loads of times before. You can see error, Dpc Watchdog violation, and it's given us the file path right there of the file that is offending and causing this issue. Now, yours may be different again. You know, you may be having an issue with a third-party driver or something like that, and this way we can check that out. But it will tell you down there that there's no third-party driver that is offending and causing this issue if you looked further down. And it's a great way to diagnose driver issues or software issues. Now, if you come down into the Windows directory, so let's go to the C drive here and go into Windows, you'll see your mini dump area here, and this is where your dump files will be for all the errors. Now, there's more complex ways of diagnosing these. We're not going to cover that in this video, but basically these will be useful to someone who knows what they're doing and will be able to help you much more, say on posting them on a forum, and they could diagnose it for you. Now, also another issue could be your SSD, and you want to check this out, okay, because they have firmware on these and you need to keep these updated, because you could run into this error message or blue screen of death. And you can see this firmware version is old and it's out of date, and you want to make sure that you click on the update button to update to the latest firmware version for your SSD. Now, this is a Samsung one. You can normally get the software from the SSD manufacturer's website and download this and update to their latest firmware, and this can sometimes resolve a lot of those issues that you may be having with your computer. So next up, we're going to do driver verifier here. We're going to go into the command prompt and run this as administrator. Now, if your blue screen of death is software related, then Windows driver verifier can do a variety of stress tests on your system to find improper behavior of any third-party drivers that you have on your system. It can monitor these, and what it will then do is detect the bad third-party driver and then flag it or disable that driver, so you can then do something about it. So that's what the driver verifier does. And this is a great way of detecting any sort of driver issues that you may be having with third-party drivers. And this will sometimes give you a clue to what is actually causing the error. So you can see here, type verifier inside your command prompt with administrator rights here, and inside here create a custom settings for code developers. Now, if you don't know how to use all this stuff, then you can post this on a forum. It does help the person that's trying to help you. Also, you can give them the dump file as well. So you want the special pull and also false IRQ check-in. And you also want pull tracking here. Deadlock detection is another one that you want to make sure that you've got here. And security checks, make sure you got that one checked there. Now, another one you want to do here is miscellaneous checks. Make sure you got that one done there as well. And then looking down the list a little bit further down, you can see power framework delay fuzzing. Make sure you've got this one done here. And another one you want to check mark here is the DDI compliance check-in. Make sure you got that one checked. And also I'm going to check here DDI compliance check-in additional as well, just to make sure that we've got all of those done. So I'm just going to quickly do this one as well. So I don't think there's anything else there that I need to check. So let's just quickly do this one. No, they're all done now. And what we can do here once we've got these done is click on the next button. So that's the next part we need to do here. Now this is going to run in the background as well, and you want to leave this running for about 24 hours, and what will happen is it can start to submit a blue screen of death on the system. Now once you get to this stage here, we want to select driver names from a list. So go to that one there, and then we want to go next. So come down to the next button, push next, and this will then start this off. And up the top here, you're looking for provider here. Now, if we click on the provider tab up here, this will section them all out. And you can see we don't want all the Microsoft stuff here. What we want to do here is select any third-party ones here. And you can see these here. Just select all the third-party ones from here as well. Now, yours may be a much more extensive list because this is a VMware. So I'm just going to check these non-Microsoft ones here. Okay, so make sure you check right through these and select all of those, and once you've got all those selected, you can then click on finish, and what that will do is it will ask you to do a reboot of your system. And if you're unable to boot to the desktop after the driver verifier has enabled the blue screen of death, then you'll need to go into safe mode to do a system restore point, which we set up a little bit earlier in the video. Now what we're going to do here is quickly restart the system, and then we're going to open up command prompt again just to take a look here. So we're going to go CMD. Now you want to run this driver verifier for about 24 hours for a day, just to see, or when you're at least using the computer, so you can see whether the error reoccurs. And what will happen is, if it's a third-party driver, driver verifier will find that driver, snag it, and then basically submit a blue screen on there, and you'll be able to see it. So you can see verifier space / query, and you can see here all the queries that we're looking at here. They're all running, so just leave this running in the background, okay, and let it do its thing. I'll also show you how to stop this and reset it back, but this one is to see the settings we made. So we're going to go verifier space / query settings, and type this one inside here and push enter, and this will be all the settings that we had checkmarked. You can see here what we checkmarked in our settings pane, and these are all checkmarked here, so it lets you see what you're doing here. Okay, now you obviously have got other problems, you can check other issues here which you want to check, but this is what we're checking here. And you can see, come down, and you can see boot mode is persistent, and you've got a load of other information here as well. So what we can do, if you want to then finish your test, you can also type in here verifier and also space reset. So let me just quickly show you how to stop this now, just in case you want to stop it and finish this, you can do. Now obviously if you are having issues doing this and getting to the desktop and got a blue screen, you will need to use the system restore point to go back to a point where before you set this off, okay, because it is a third-party driver then. So you can see here verifier space / reset, and that will then turn it off. And as you can see, the driver verifier has now been stopped here. You can see all the flags have been removed, and it's been reset. Now it's a great way of diagnosing third-party driver issues or anything like that. And if you're not familiar with that sort of stuff and you want to leave it alone, you can skip that part if you want to, and then take it to a PC repair shop or go to a forum where they can help you. Now also we're going to open up command prompt again as administrator, and we're going to do check disk here. Now I'd advise you to make sure at this stage, well hopefully you have got backups of all your data before you've done any of this work really. So you can see here now we're going to do chk dsk space c : and then /f and then space /r, push Wi-Fi yes to enter this check disk, and what you'll do is reboot the system and it will start doing a check disk on your drive, and this will take a fair bit of time. Okay, so be patient, let it run and let it finish its job, and hopefully by the end of all this you'll be back up and running. Okay, now you still need to understand that this does take a long time, and you need to determine whether this is a hardware issue or a software issue. And once you get to the point where you know it's software, you've probably more than likely fixed it by now. But if you are starting to still have issues, you may have an hardware issue, and it may be time to start thinking about backing up your data. But we'll try one more thing here in command prompt, which is your SFC scan now. And we can do this one and run this, and this will take a bit of time as well. And if you're still having issues after this point, I'd advise you to reinstall Windows, back up your data, reinstall Windows, and see if the problem goes away. If you still got the same issue after you've installed all your drivers and stuff, keep it bare minimum, install Windows and install all your drivers, and if you still get that problem coming up, it's more than likely going to be a hardware issue, and you'll need to take it to a PC repair shop to get that resolved for you. Okay, anyway, I hope this one helps you out. My name is Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Thanks again for watching. Bye for now. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the big red subscribe button on my YouTube channel and hit the bell notification button next to that to be notified when we upload new videos.